There you
Yes.
go.
Quick
Perfect.
context.
Good you're
Thank you,
here, Shweta.
everybody. Yes, thank you, everyone, for joining in today's Saturday afternoon. And I know it's around lunchtime and everybody's still here to listen to Shweta. Shweta is not only an accomplished, trainer, facilitator, but somebody who I relate with a lot because we both share a passion around women and transformation of women around every possible subject, be it leadership, be it money, which is a topic which is of our interest. And apart from the many accolades that Shweta has, you can read her formal profile. I wanted to share a little bit that, it should be a casual introduction from my side because everybody does a formal introduction. But what I truly love about Shweta is that she walks the talk. And which is why I was very sure that if we were to do any work around negotiation, conversations about women at the workforce, leadership skills, she's got to be the first one. And she is the first one who's come ever to do this for us. Because I know that whatever she's going to speak to us or share with us, it's going to be 100% undiluted, pure, and coming directly from her experience or something she has done for herself. So as an example, the first time we engaged and we shared about what we do is financial wellness, Shweta immediately took on. In fact, she created one of our programs because she told me that I want you to build out a 1-year journey. Nobody before her had actually told me to think about it like that. So thank you, Shweta. You changed so many things for me personally as well as Womanista. And now we go to corporates, we go to clients, and we pitch that program which we actually had built out for your team. And for everybody to know, we run that program with her team. And I'm hoping that they all, every alternate week that they come and meet me and Rachna, they get a little bit closer to their happiness around money. And because when they started, they were not at all friends with money.
Yeah.
They had a very strange relationship, and I am hoping and I see that progress every time. So thank you, Shweta. I love what you're doing, and I love that you're doing it bilkul dil se, which is what connects with the way I also think. So thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to everything that you have to share with me as well as the community today.
Thank you so much, Neha. Nothing makes me more happy than coming and talking to women and saying, Bindya, I'm going to, yeah, thank you for muting.
I'm handling it.
Okay, cool. No problem, Bindya, just keep it on mute. So thank you, Neha. First of all, I can't even tell you, just before the rest of the community joined in, I was joking with Neha, and Neha's team, Neha and her team have not only improved, I think my relationship with money, my team's relationship with money, and I don't know if you can see Rachna. She's, you can see her money, your money sister. She's my angel of Kuan, my angel of money. Every time she comes on and, she does the work with me, my money just goes up and I'm so happy. And I think that's a separate thing we should do with Neha and her team, improving your relationship with money. And by God, women need this. But today, Neha has brought me in to talk about negotiation. And I'm so happy to be talking. I know it's a Saturday afternoon. I hope your tummy is full of your biryanis and your pulaus. That's fine. But don't worry, I'm going to give you a few tips, which I hope, in the meanwhile, Neha, can you allow me to share my screen? Because I have a lot of... Yeah, thank you. Do keep a notebook ready, my dear. Can I call you... I think I should call you angels of Kuan. All of you should become angels of Kuan. Money. We need to love it. We need to want it. We really need to want prosperity and power, because unless we improve this ambivalence, it's not going to come. And I'm going to talk because negotiation is exactly about that. So I'm going to start by sharing a little bit about... I want you to do a little bit of a reflection with me. Okay, so I've put out the activity here. What I want you to do is just take a minute and just think of a time when you last negotiated, okay? Either with a spouse, maximum negotiation, partner, romantic or otherwise, business associate, children, for a job, maybe for a contract, even with a vendor, with a maid. I just want you to know, and a negotiation that sticks out in your head, especially as one, if you've done a great job, great, but if you feel like, yeah, that negotiation, it was not easy. I just want you to think about it. Just think about that negotiation and just embody it for a few seconds. And think of a situation. What? Kind of, yeah, more or less you have a situation in mind, right? Even if you have the bare outlooks is good enough. I want you to pay attention to two things. Okay, what happened to you before the conversation? Or so one, what happened to you before the negotiating conversation? What did you do before the conversation? And what were the feelings and sensations that you experienced? Kya hua?
So I can share something.
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
there are two situations that I want to have listed. One is a situation which is impromptu. So that situation is something I face daily basis with my daughter who's 11. So I think I negotiate with her impromptu on a daily basis. So I wrote that because it instantly comes to mind. So there the preparation etc. is not there. But one thing which I did realize is that what she wants, what I want, every time the conversation somewhere comes in halfway where there's a semi-win for her and a semi-win for me.
Correct.
And I think that's become a system with both of us somehow. Then there's another situation which is again a little personal, but that situation I prepared for the negotiation. And the feelings I had were a lot of anxiety. It was because it was a personal situation. There was some amount of anger involved. And also sometimes at work, I have experienced that there's some anger, there's some hostility, there's anxiety. There's also this feeling that, but you know, it's not a fair deal. Why can't this other person already see it? Why do I have to even tell this person?
Correct.
Like, ye to samajh aane wali baat hai. These are the things which I have experienced earlier.
Beautiful.
So I'll leave the floor open to
very nice.
Others.
I have a message from Xenia. Says butterflies in the stomach before negotiation. Yeah, that's very, very common. We call it negotiation anxiety. And I think you alluded anger. Why can't they value this? Why can't they see it? Why do I have to present it? Fear to lose the opportunity. Yes, Xenia, perfect. Yes. What else? I want to know more. Like, what happens in the prep? How many of you? Nice to see you, Sangeeta, Renu. Thank you for being here. Feel free to yeah. Hi, Renu.
Hi, Shweta.
Hi. So Renu and Sangeeta and all of you, actually, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. So pay attention to what you do with respect to preparation. And I want to know if anybody has done preparation for negotiation. If you kind of, yeah, go ahead and share that experience.
I only have to share. I have made a PPT, guys. I love PPTs. I make PPTs. So the harder the negotiation, the more determined I am that I'm going to put this a pen to paper. I'm going to calm my emotions down. And I've actually done a PPT, and it's a point of joke in my family that Neha negotiates with PPTs. But I actually managed to get what I wanted out of the deal and a little bit more because I did this PPT.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Neha. Okay. Yeah, I got what I wanted and a little bit more. I love that. And I'm going to even challenge Neha and think that you probably still should have got a lot more. And that's
yes,
what
I
agree.
Aim for. I agree. Yeah? That's what I thought after that.
Exactly. Pragati says something which really breaks my heart. She says, it's been a decade since I last negotiated. Now I feel powerless as I don't negotiate. And you got to the heart of the matter of it, Pragati, because really whatever we negotiate for is usually around a resource. Is usually either I'm negotiating for a job or money or time or something that will give me power. So really, we need to think about negotiation as something that is empowering, that I am going out. If you are a tiger in a jungle or a lion in a jungle, you're not going to go out and operate from such a powerless state. But I don't blame you, Pragati, for thinking like that, because these are very systemic things that have been done to women and the whole aspect of negotiation. Most women, and I'm going to now step in, and because I do want to share, because I've got a lot for you, and I was just thinking that maybe I should do a separate session on just BATNA, which is just one framework. But what you experience after the conversation very often you will find is a relief. Thank God the conversation is over, because it's like, you know what, I was really not looking forward to this, now I'm done, right? So relief after the conversation. And so the first thing to remember is this, that women tend to put off negotiating conversations first as much as possible. To the extent possible, we would rather lose than to have a negotiation. And everything that I'm telling you, my dear angels of Kuan, my dear, Shernis, my dear tigresses, leaders, all of this is now evidenced. You can reach out to us. We will tell you how many papers have been written on this. Women tend to put off negotiating conversations, especially if it is about wanting something for yourself. Very okay to negotiate for your children, very okay to negotiate during COVID, because it is all for a good cause. But you are apparently not a good cause enough. So for yourself, women tend to do it. And the primary drive is closure. Chalo, 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 let me just get it over with. Yeah.
Acha, ye ho raha hai.
Yeah. So that is one of, and I'm going to give you strategies to remember this a lot. So women not only fail to initiate negotiations, even if, sorry, I'm going to just find a way to, yeah. Even if it would be in their best interest, and I'm just giving you one research, Babcock and Lashever, they've done a lot of research on the gender differences in negotiation. Men ask for things they want and start negotiations much more often, 2 to 3 times as often, more than women. Think about it. It is very likely, and incidentally, the more power difference in the society, like in more patriarchal societies like India, South Asia, which is where most of us are from, this is even more. Which means that every one time you're negotiating, your male counterpart is negotiating 3 or 4 times more. And then we wonder why in India we have a 40% gender pay gap. Why in India are women doing most of the unpaid work? Not just household chores, most of the unpaid work continues. Caregiving, raising children, organizing home chores. Cooking by women is, when it is not paid for, it is a woman's job. When it becomes a paid, Kuan comes in, immediately you will see so many male chefs. So you have to think about these things. Now, why do you think this happens? I'm going to give you the answers, and many of you know this, but we now know that, and I hope some of it resonates with you. If you don't, just switch on your camera and just tell me. One is poor self-worth, aka I am not really sure I'm worth this much. Should I really be asking? I'm not sure I deserve this much. And so it comes from a poor self-worth. And I was telling the other day to my friend, I don't know if she will join, if she's here already, but I was telling her, you see, one of the beauties of the current system that we live in, and of course, patriarchy has been talked about, I will not go into that, is it is very, if you put somebody in a prison, and they will keep trying to get out of the prison. But if you tell them you're not good enough only to come out of the door, then you don't need a door. The person will never get out of the door. So working on your self-worth is beautiful for the narrative of keeping, imposter syndrome, insecurity, body image insecurity. I mean, I'm going to say this, like a $3 to $4 trillion industry, beauty industry works on poor self-worth. Can you imagine what happens if tomorrow morning every woman on the planet wakes up and says, I think I'm very beautiful. I don't need any of these creams. I think I'm perfect. So poor self-worth is a very core thing. Very poor relationship with being opportunistic. Women have a need to appear altruistic, to be more altruistic. No, I can't. I have to be more magnanimous. I have to be the more altruistic one. I don't want to sound too greedy, too opportunistic.
Yes.
So that's a huge one, right?
No, I agree totally on the sounding greedy bit. Like so many of us have that issue, right?
Yeah. And even if I know this is my worth, I don't want to appear opportunistic. And I'm telling you this, all my dear, I would say sisters, I struggle with it myself. So I have to, like Neha makes a PPT. Every time I go in for a negotiating conversation, I work at it, I prepare, and even then I have to deal with, this question is so deep rooted. This voice is so old, such a vintage voice. It is the voice of my grandmothers and my aunts and my mom and my mother-in-law and all the women on whose shoulders I stand, who told me that women must be more altruistic. And that's not the narrative I want to give my daughter. So I am very clear that, but this is a big one. The third one is poor relationship with system as a source. Now I'm going to explain this a little bit. You see, we are all part of systems. We are all part of home system, work system, country system. Everything is a system. And insidiously, women tend to take on the role as I am a resource to this. I am a source to the system. I have to be a resource to the system. Seeing the system as a source to me doesn't come in easily. And so instead of seeing the system as a source of personal needs, The third big problem is, how can I burden them with my ask, my needs? They're already doing too much. How can I ask my manager for a raise? I know other people are also going to be doing it. I don't want to be seen as someone. How can I ask at home for help? Because they're already burdened. So we struggle with this. And many of you, I know some of you personally, may know what I'm saying is right and even agree that yes, this is you're right, this is not correct. But our embodied relationship with this is so ancient that it will take time for us to overcome this, right? And so I do say this to every woman leader that I coach, that to negotiate for better outcomes, long-term work with self-image is very critical. You have to work on your self-image, your relationship with yourself, but that is a long-term work. It takes time. It happens over a period of time. But we don't have to wait to win. The winning process at negotiation can start today. While we start the long trek home to an elevated sense of self, which all of us, the fact that you're here proves that you are already on that road. We can start doing better at our negotiations right from today. And that is what I'm here for. I do have tips for you. I have a framework, and please ask a lot of questions. So I'm going to kind of wait for your questions towards the end. But at any point in time, if you feel like, Shweta, I have a question, just unmute and speak, because I may not be able to open up the chat because I'm looking at my slide. So now rewind to the first question, okay? I'm going to take you back to the first question. And what did you do before the meeting? Many of you talked about, other than Neha, I didn't hear, most of you said, I feel anxious, I feel butterflies in my stomach, and a fear of losing an opportunity. I think Disha also said, I wonder, the feeling is not good. Basically, you don't have a good feeling, right? And that is where we want to start. So think of it, that was your negotiation self 1.0. Okay, that was you at the negotiation table 1.0. But now we are rewriting the script. Bani thi na, the Dawn 2, Dawn 3, Sholay 2, Ram. Okay, no, that's a wrong example. Ram Gopal Verma ki aage is a bad example. But you want to rewrite the story of how you are when you are negotiating. And that's what I want to start right now. So the first thing I'm going to introduce you today is this whole process. And don't worry, of course, you get the recordings. Those of you who want slides, you can get the slides. But I want you to really understand, and at each phase, understand the block to it, okay? So investigation, determining your partner, presentation, bargaining, and closure. Each one of this is important. And I'm going to now also present to you the fact that negotiating is not just for that closure. Negotiating is a perm till your last breath. Think of it as an ongoing process. I'm negotiating, I'm giving some, I'm receiving some, and the outcome is everybody is winning. I'm winning, everyone is winning, and I'm becoming more powerful. So I want you to start with that thought process. So the first step that we have to think about, and I do apologize that there's a lot of text here, but I really want you to think about it. First of all, you have to think about what are your goals for the negotiation, right? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to concede? Would you not concede? You have to go to the negotiating table, and I'm going to say it aloud, not as a beggar. You have to go with a lot of things in your basket. This I'm willing to give, this I want. And you can't visualize your basket till you have done the work. So for example, if those of you who are at working, what do I value most? First of all, is it the salary? Is it the work? Is it my boss? Is it the learning? Do I want a company that will groom me for future positions? What is the most important thing that I care about? What is my must-haves and okay to lose? Yeah, so those things are very important. Leigh Steinberg, the guy after whom the Jerry Maguire character is created, he says you have to be very clear about your goals, and you need to be brutally honest about yourself with your priorities, because at the bargaining, when we come to the bargaining, you will find that this step has really helped you. I'm going to move on. Now, this is Batna. I I don't know if you have heard this before, but basically best alternative to negotiated alternative. Okay. Best alternative, best. There are many other things, but BATNA basically is what if this is what I want. So I want X. What if I don't get X? What are my other best alternatives? Could it be X minus Y plus A? Could it be and think about all possible situations, whether you're going to negotiate for a say case, criminal case, a civil case, money, a contract. And I'm going to give you a lot of examples where I have seen, and I also work as a vendor, so I'll never think that, okay, I want X, either I get X or I'll get X minus. No, there are many ways to think about. For example, I'll give you one example, right? I may not get, let's say I want 20 lakhs for a project. Now they may say, no, but we don't have 20 lakhs. We really don't have 20 lakhs. So the first thing to do is what I have found, and this is for all of you women entrepreneurs out there, always be willing to give. I say, okay, you don't have the budget, or what is it? You think it is way too much. And if I have to negotiate, because of course I negotiate, I always tell them I'm happy to throw in a freebie. For example, I will, if I was thinking of doing 6 coaching sessions, I'm happy to give you 3 more, but I'm not reducing the price. So I do not reduce the price point. I add more freebies. And it's basically not freebies, but basically I kind of say that, when you take the 9 sessions, you'll really see the value of it, and so on and so forth. So that because for me, in my head, the 20 lakhs is something that I don't want to come down from, right? Sometimes it could be that, okay, I want to do this, but maybe I need more time. Maybe I don't want to do the work and I would like a colleague to step in. There are many ways to think about your partner. Basically, could you get a better outcome than the proposed deal? Your partner will help you reject an unfavorable deal. Now, I want to share with you one more thing. And this is something actually we learned in our session with Neha, because she had taught us something very interesting. And I've done a lot of research on this after my session with Neha. So thank you, Neha. You see, ultimately, all resource comes down into either 2 things, either time or money. The jobless, those who have no jobs, have all the time in the world. And we don't realize time is a lot of resources. So sometimes you may be saying no, you may be thinking, no, but I don't have a project, I might as well say yes. I don't have a job, I might as well say yes. But you don't realize that when you sell yourself for a lesser cost, what you're giving up is your time. And your time has a lot of value because you could be doing things with your time. And so think about whenever you go to in addition to what you want and give, you need to have a good idea of your partner. I'm going to give you some best practices. By the way, partner is so important that when I do this work with corporates, I spend half a day talking about partner. One is you have to have a list of alternatives that you might conceivably take if the negotiation does not lead to a favorable outcome for you, because this will help you bargain more powerfully. And the party opposite you will sense that, okay, there are options. And so the power will show through in you. So you should have this with you. Improve on the more promising ideas and start converting them into actionable alternatives. Which means that if you have an alternative, but you think this is not the most, even as you're going towards a negotiation, start building up. The more options you have, the more powerful you are at the negotiating table. The other thing to remember, your partner will evolve over time. So it will keep revising. So, and this is important, my dear friends, fellow leaders, entrepreneurs. One thing that people think, and I will come back to it when I come about closure, people think that, I lost. This negotiation meant I lost. You didn't lose. Because even closure, when it was an unfavorable outcome for you, taught you a lot about what was actually taken into account. And the next time you negotiate, because it's a lifelong process, your partner will evolve. And the last and the most important.
I have a question.
Ji. Hanji, bol.
So you have written the first point is that we need to build out a list of alternatives. I know it's a very basic question, but is there any framework to think of what kind of alternatives I can build out on? Is there any?
Yeah.
One can really give that a thought.
Yeah, there is. And that's what I said, actually, that I would love to do a separate session. I'd love to do a separate session, Neha, on partner itself. But I will tell you, the basic framework is like that. Either I'm making money or I'm saving on time. So think of it like that, that sometimes we think about a project in terms of money, but we don't think of the amount of time it would save us. And Neha, you had taught us this. I remember that, when you buy something, think of it in terms of time, but I now do it for a project valuation also. What happens if I don't get that project, and what could I do instead? We work on our brand. We could work on not just personal stuff, but also so many things for the corporate and what that could result in. So that's the basic framework to think of in terms of alternatives. Essentially, the way to think about it is, I'll give you an example. I think that would be best. So suppose, and let's say for you, you're an entrepreneur like me. So you're going to a corporate, right? When you think of a corporate, and they're saying that, I'm going to pay you X, you'll say, no, but X doesn't work for me. I was actually looking at X plus 50. So I really don't want to do X. I can't do it at X. It's too less. So now in your head, you have to think, what does that brand mean to you? What does it mean to you to get that work? But suppose you don't do that work. What are the other possibilities you could do? Right? What are the other options you could do in terms of time, in terms of that effort that you would have taken? And there is a lot more that we could do just with that, Neha. But to remember it clearly in terms of time, in terms of money, and also think about the chances. So the third factor in this is probability, and it comes in a lot with opportunity cost becomes very important when women are thinking about jobs, because we think, all this what is that? Bird in hand is worth. Bird in hand, when you are not.
Hand is better than the one in the bush.
That is your chidiya ki shikari. We are not chidiya ki shikari, na. What is bird in hand worth too? Think about what are the suppose you've applied for 5 jobs and you've got an interview, and you're so happy. Oh, I got a job and I've got this, and I just want to close it because I don't know. Don't do that, because Bhatna is basically involved thinking, what are the odds of me getting that other job? It even means that you reach out to them and ask the recruiter, what are the odds of me getting the job? So 3 things to remember when you evolve your Bhatna is, what are the odds of the other alternative coming true? What does it mean in terms of money, and what does it mean in terms of time? And basis that, you have to think of your partners. Okay, which basically means that there is never a situation that you have no alternative. And there is never a situation, because if you don't get the work, then you have 100%, you have 24 hours of time. That's what you have. It's important to think about it like that, because that way you never feel that I have no power. And I'm talking to Pragati now when she said, I feel powerless. You're never powerless, because if you didn't get this job, you got 24 hours back to you. So think about it like that. Like I said, I would love to do a separate session on Bhatna, because Neha is absolutely hit it right. I'm not surprised at all. Understanding Bhatna itself takes some time, but anyway, I think I've given you some framework.
In case you have questions, because I think
Correct.
Shweta is open to the idea. If you want to unmute, you want to put down a question, I'm manning the chat. Please do it, because this is a very important part in my limited understanding of negotiation. I think this is so critical, being able to list out alternatives and being able to kind of dish them out there and then, that okay, ye nahi to why don't we try this, and ye nahi to why don't I try that. I think, and it's true in salaries as well, right, Shweta? I mean, when you're negotiating salaries.
Absolutely. See, what happens is, and thank you, I think, okay, so I have questions from, if you're doing a salary negotiation, what could be an example of Bhatna? So for example, let's say you're asking for, yes, beautiful. Salary pe to bahut, I am an expert because I have negotiated so many times. Salary mein to bahut kuch hai. Think about it like that. You could ask for projects. You could ask for exposure to many other projects. You could say that, if I am not getting a salary, for example, I really think I deserve this increment, right? And many things will come to you. When we talk about bargaining, I will tell you, it could come from the very, at least I would say, professional, there would be some semblance of professionalism, and people will say, we can't afford it. Look, there's no budget. That at least has some semblance, to the absolute ridiculous. Why do you need to get an increment? Your husband is also doing so well, or which is a horrendous thing, right? We hear this so much in our corporates. Or you went on maternity leave, so you will not get so many things, different ways in which. Now, you first, when you think of Batna, you say, okay, how much money do I really want? I want that increment, but what am I really asking for? I want a pathway to the promotion. Very often, yes, it's about money, but really it's also about a pathway to a promotion. It is about parity. It is about my self-worth. So when you think about your investigation and you've thought about what am I willing to give and what am I willing to take? For example, you've gone for a salary negotiation. You may say, look, I think I deserve a 10% raise. Person may say, no, 10%, no, we can't do. I think 5%. So now you will say, okay, 5%, but I want to say one thing, that I have worked on this project for many years and I also want to grow. How about giving me also exposure to a project? How about allowing me some, I'm also looking for a mentor. Would you be willing to mentor me? So you've kind of thought of it like that. And therefore, when you think about the salary, when you go in for Batna, from a salary point of view, also go in thinking what are the roles in the organization are high paying. I'm just talking money now. For example, if it is just money, start thinking about, if I apply to, don't just think about it in terms of quitting. What are the kind of roles in our companies that pay in our company that seems to be very high paying? Is there a team? Is there a and skills are a great way to think about it when you come in Batna for salary, right? I can't get a hike, but can I get exposure? Can I be part of a project? I want to learn more. So all of these are alternatives when you go in. And so you negotiate. And one tip, and I think all of you know this, if you want 5, you should ask for 10, ideally 15. So that they will give you 7.5. They will also feel happy. You will also feel happy. So if you truly believe after doing the math, and with women, I want to say this, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. If you think you deserve 10 more, please add another 5 to it, because you're anyway deflated in your self view, right? So add, don't worry. Let the system take care of it. Don't feel so ashamed. Oh, how terrible if I get paid a little bit more than my worth, as if it is such a catastrophe. It's okay to get a little paid. Even if that is true, it's okay. Yes, Udisha, you have a question before I go on.
Yeah. So this is very interesting, but I have one question. Like, I've seen a lot of my male colleagues actually using an alternate, negotiation, and trying to negotiate with my present firm or whatever. I somehow have a ethical dilemma around it, because it makes me feel I would rather want it on my merit rather than doing something like that. Can you address that? I know it is a very flawed idea, and the women I see generally do that.
That is exactly. It is not at all flawed, Odisha. First of all, I banged my head because I'm like, oh, if you were in front of me, I would have hugged you. It's not flawed. What I said at the beginning of the session is it comes from the fact that as a society, women have been held to this idea that you must do things which are more magnanimous, more ethical, more principled, don't do. For example, you see exactly what you said. No, I don't want to kind of hold out the threat of quitting because it's not ethical. If I will get it on my own merit. These are all stories fed into our head. If at a point in time, walking out or the threat of walking out is going to add to your bargaining power, what is wrong with doing it, Odisha? Think about it. If you're operating and now, again, when I come to bargain, I'm going to come out step when you think about it, especially when I'm going to tell you how to think about bargaining. Don't do it if you have a long-term plan. Okay, if you have a long-term plan with a system, institution, pitching yourself that I'm willing to let go of this in return for something else is a fabulous strategy. But this that I should only get, on my merit, I'm Mother Teresa, let them give, no, adhi roti kha lungi. What is this? This doesn't work. Number 2, if you're operating in a mercenary system, then you please understand, if you are going to be Mother Teresa in a mercenary system, you're going to get shot.
It's very important. I agree with that. Udisha, It's important to understand what's working. It's not about what those guys are doing.
Correct.
The unfortunate part is that the corporate or organization is not
incentivizing it. It's okay with it.
I don't see anything wrong with it. And they're rewarding that behavior is what I would see as a
absolutely
employee. And then there would be 2 very important questions that I would ask personally. I would say, if I have to rise in an organization like this, there are some methods that you will have to use. And if this is the method and doesn't align with your value system as an employee, then maybe you're in the wrong place.
I 100% agree.
Okay,
If you're in a, yeah,
correct.
sorry, go on, Neha, go on.
Sorry, I mean, that's really one thing. And second, I agree with Shweta. In Rome, do the Romans, man. I mean, that's how it works. Don't feel ashamed or shy or whatever. Like, give a larger picture to your life. That अच्छा ये तो fit, ये तो company का culture ही मेरे साथ fit नहीं बैठ रहा. But meanwhile, in the short term, if I have to get the best for myself, then, well, I mean,
Absolutely.
it has never served anybody. I mean, this thing we hold, unfortunately, and it sounds really, really bad, but yeah, I mean, these are hard lessons even I learned.
Yeah. And listen, one thing, I'll tell you again and again, if, when I do a session on political acumen, I don't know how many of you remember, maybe Disha may remember, but actually no, Disha, you were part of RISE, right? We did it for Unleash. Political acumen, it's a very simple matrix. It is basically your interest and organization's interest. And you want to maximize both. You don't want to be a martyr. Please understand, even in political acumen, and women have a problem with political savvy also. Nahi, I don't want to be political. No, political is trading. It's trading power and influence. Why would you not want it? Of course, you want to know it and you want to do it really well. But anyway, that is a day.
You're saying things na jo itna, matlab andar tak they are so difficult to do. And
Yes.
matlab, I can confess ki so many of the, I'm reading this book called Rules of Power, 7 Rules of Power. And the first chapter says that the first thing you need to do is you want to have power. And I closed the book. Because it made me think that, oh God, I'm such a bad person. I want power. And I just closed.
Neha, women have such an ambivalence with power. I'm going to let Renu speak. That's why do you think I have a business? Because women, that's my work. Yes, Renu, my friend, go ahead.
So I just wanted to add to this conversation. Actually, what I have noticed is that it is not only our own value system or the systemic operation that we have brought in, we have been brought up with, that, okay, we have to be nice, we have to be ethical, etc., etc. Sometimes the card is played in a different manner. Oh, these people, the men, they do it like this, but you are such a good person that you will never do it. So basically elevating that operation once again and asking you to continue to fall in line because it serves their purpose.
Bang on, Renu. You are worthy of being loved if you behave like a martyr. If you become opportunistic, then you're very chalu and that's not nice.
Totally.
तुमसे ये उम्मीद नहीं थी
तुमसे ये उम्मीद नहीं थी. Yeah.
Absolutely.
तुम ऐसा करोगी, ये तो कतई नहीं सोचा था.
Correct. हमने ये नहीं सोचा था. Correct. And that is why I want to say this.
I'm on YouTube saying this. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Good. Say it. I'll come to you in a minute because you're my angel. I'll come to you in a minute. But yesterday, I was having a conversation with a family member. Suffice to say, I'm not going to name the person. And she said, "You are a very good girl, aren't you?" And I said, "No. From the next 48, 50 years of my life, watch me being the baddest girl you've ever known." If we can free ourselves and be okay with being seen as an opportunistic, and I'm going to say it, it's on YouTube, bitch. And if you're okay with that, I'm very opportunistic. I care about myself first. I'm a very self-full person. There is another word to selfish, self-full. I take care of myself first. And I'm okay with that. I want power. I want to live in this world like a lion. And I'm okay with that. If you can do that, and when you say it, I know how many of your bodies are breaking out in hives. Then it becomes a lot more easy. It'll take time, but it'll get there. Yes, Sangeeta.
I really wish I could use those words. I'm a self-full person.
And I'm giving it to you today, Sangeeta.
Yes, I want that.
I'm giving you a high five.
Yeah,
today onwards,
I'm receiving that. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, my friend.
I'm going to be using this word very, very much going forward because I come across somehow as somebody who, wants like benefit in everything, So for me, it has always been that, oh, you're very selfish. You're very self-centered. You're very, into yourself. To which I feel whenever I come across a situation, maybe personal or even professional, the first thing that rings in my mind is what is the benefit that I am getting out of it.
Right? And it should, as it should.
And when I talk in that manner, saying, or even in my mind, the first thing that comes across is, the opposite person immediately gets it that, okay, she's so self-centered. She's just thinking about what she is going to get. So instead of calling yourself selfish, that, I'm putting myself first, I think this selfful is a very nice word. So next time somebody calls me selfish, I'm going to turn around and say, don't call me selfish, call me selfful.
I am self-full. If I would not be self-full, in no system can I give. I will always be self-full first, even as a mother. And that is, I want to say this, because the one thing that women, don't even get me started. Anindita knows, and I think some of you in Rise and Unleash also know this. There is a whole case study of how Bollywood and a lot of cinema was used to fit in this concept of the selfless mother. Notice how in the 70s and 80s, the mother was even a widow. Matlab, she's not even a wife. She's only a mother. And in all those movies, not one movie you can see the mother eating. She's cooking, or she's coughing at the chula, or she's tending to the bachas or the ill. We have been fed with this. And so now, even if you try to get out of it, it is very difficult. I mean, don't even get me started. I mean, I can't even tell you, when I look at the media, I look at movies, I look at these lenses, and I'm going to tell you one more very interesting symbology. All of you watched Bahubali? Please say you have, because it's a great movie.
Yes,
I
of
watched.
course.
Have you remember Bahubali when Shivagami goes and she's sits on the throne? Look at this symbology. She is first nursing her son, and she's nursing the other boy also. She's a mother twice over. The only way she's sitting on the throne is by saying, I am a mother twice over. That also I'm holding it in regency. Despite the fact that she was much smarter, much powerful, she was politically savvy. That is why Shivagami was such a popular thing. And this is the kind of stuff we still get fed. And so don't undermine, so Odisha and all of you who feel, why am I struggling? No, don't worry, you're part of a narrative. So it's not easy. That's why I come to these sessions. Whenever you're feeling doubt, open my video, hear my voice. Then hopefully you'll remember.
So we need this community sometimes to give each other, the power that मुझे कई बार एक story याद आती है कि जैसे Hanuman had to be reminded of his powers. Na?
Correct.
All of us as women, sometimes we forget our own powers, that Shweta has to come and she has to say,
Yeah.
अरे negotiate करने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है.
कोई हर्ज नहीं है, कोई हर्ज नहीं है. I told this in a very public company today, and one day, and they said, what would you like to see? I said, I want to see on the XCOM all 12 women. And they said, wouldn't that be unfair, Shweta? I said, there are all 12 men, and that is not being seen as unfair. Why would it be unfair if it is all 12 women? Is it not? So we have to change the way we think.
100%.
Yeah, what is fair? If they are there on the basis of their merit, why is it going so much? Yeah. I'm going to move on because I do want to talk to you about. So the third is when you so you've gone with your now Bhatna. Now Bhatna, I can do a full session on this. Those of you who are interested, Neha, I'll also see if I can maybe do another session, or I can.
Maybe
Yeah.
we can build out something.
Yeah, because negotiating is very important, and we can actually do like a real time, like a interactive thing where you can actually work out your Bhatna with me.
Yeah.
Okay, in the session. So I'm very happy to do that. Presentation is very important. Now, when you go and present, please remember, presentation will start only when most of us think about it as I'm preparing for the conversation. First, the investigation, then the Bhatna, thinking of your alternatives, thinking of the evolution, thinking of how it's going to evolve, then the presentation. So your conversation negotiation doesn't start at the conversation. It starts much earlier. In the presentation, your basic job is to talk about why what you want has a lot of value. It's very simple. So never talk in terms of, and this I have learned in my consulting. When I ask today, when I go, many of you know this, right? I work for companies, cultural transformation, leadership transformation, and I do work for women in leadership. And always people will tell me, Shweta, 20 lakh seems like a lot. I said, you are running, these leaders are running a 1,000 crore business. 20 lakhs on this business, even if each one of them improves their profitability by 10%. Can you think about the impact? So now tell me, is it 20 lakhs? And then if you can, and I have found that very useful, especially in large companies, if you're going and pitching, take out public statements that they have, their bosses, their CEOs have made. We are committed to diversity and inclusion. We are looking at 50% gender diversity, but we don't want to pay 5 lakhs. So I'm wondering, where is the thing? So I say this, that somewhere I'm a little lost, because I saw this quote by your CEO in the public thing, that he said, I'm committed to a 50% gender balanced. But I see that you're struggling with the 5 lakh budget, because I'm not going to bring down my price. But I'm just so amazed. Why are you not? So where is the walking the talk not happening? So presentation is basically, remember this, whenever you're presenting, and my dear leaders, you should start with, if you have a spouse or a boyfriend or an in-law, because children I find are still, innocent parties, and they're my kids. So with them, you want to give, that's fine.
Yeah.
But with all other parties, it's good to win more, right? So you can practice it there. Whenever you're presenting, you must never present, I want this. You must present, this is what the value is. Because people love to hear money, value. This is the value, this is the value, this is the value. Then what you want just slides in very easily. So the value is this, value is that. I could do this for your project. This is what your project does. This is what this role does. This is what I have done. And a lot of you are being very quiet here, because I know many of you are not talking like that in your salary negotiations. Disha, am I correct?
Totally, Shweta.
I'm sorry I picked on you. Hannah, this conversation is so alien.
Yeah.
Because I don't think of myself, because deep down in my head, I'm still thinking, oh, mujhe naukri mil gayi, yehi bahut hai. I have a job. Oh.
Even
I
though
think I love the idea, Shweta, which you said that, pull out the public statement saying diversity, this, that, because that is what, as a brand, we've observed the most. The minute we go in saying that it is only a women, small group related thing, is why do you need to do it only for women?
I will tell you one more. I will show you one more. I use a lot. I use this Jedi. It's called Jedi is, of course, Jedi of Star Wars. So, wow, wonderful thing. Jedi Toolkit is about a gender, is about more better inclusion and sustainable planet. And investors today care about this. So I do forget CEO. I say your investors in the balance sheet have said that they care about this. So if they care about this, Prime Minister Modi cares about this. If the Constitution of India cares about this, so so you have to know a lot more. There's a lot happening out there in the world that you have. I'm going to share with you some laws also, by the way, which you can quote when people ask you questions that they're not supposed to ask you. Thank you for that, Rachana. So when you're going in the presentation, remember, I'm going to say this, underline, 3 times underline. Presentation is never about what I want. What I want is a small print, as if it's a small print, by the way, conversation. The main point of the presentation is, this is the impact I am bringing. This is the impact I can bring. This is the network I have. These are the things I can do. These are the things I have done. And I have ideas for more. And in a job, my dear leaders, see, everybody loves a team member who makes them look good. So if you have done your analysis well of your manager, think about their pain points. Think about their pain points and present to them that, I know that is a project that you're really working on, and I know how important it is for you. I would love to help you with that project. This is what I want to do. After all of this, then you say that, and therefore, this is what I would like. I would need in order to be, in fact, I nowadays don't even say I want. I say, for me to be able to bring the best, I would need. It is as if I am, I'm delivering you a service, and these are the resources I need. And that is true. If I don't get paid well, how will I deliver the best? How will I do the best job for my team? Make sense? My Shernis are not saying anything. If anybody is sleeping, that's fine. I am
personally absorbing so much, because in 2-3 lines you've said so many things, like, bringing value. And then, so basically that also means that I need to do a lot more work around figuring out the value.
Yeah.
And I would say that in itself is
an activity.
Yeah.
That itself is an activity. I will send you, Odisha. Jedi Toolkit is actually it's an investors toolkit. And that's what investors globally. So investors are the people with Kuan, with money. They are the people who are running this world. Whether it is governments, it is the people with money. Money is the only religion. So you should go and look at the biggest picture. Bhagwan ke baad kaun hai? Investors. Investors are running this earth. So what are they saying? What is your CEO saying? And then tied back to what is needed. I'm going to send you, Odisha. Okay.
Shweta, I have a quick question. So
go
in the situation of a salary negotiation, like there are multiple rounds of interviews. So the one in which you are told that this is the terms and this is what they can offer, that's where you go prepared with this kind of a presentation and say it is off by 50% or it's off by a good amount of number. Is it still a good idea to present them the guys, you said work-life balance, you said all this is there in your CSR report, but here you're not okay with a hybrid work model, or you're not okay with these kind of things. Uh, would
Beautiful,
it be
Zinia. Wonderful. I'm going to tell you. Beautiful. So first thing is, see, presentation. So when the salary comes up to you, so presentation is where you are now going for the conversation, right? Remember one thing. Now, whenever somebody says a conversation can be a boxing match. Sometimes it can feel like a boxing match. A difficult conversation can feel like a boxing match. They are landing a blow on you. But if you move away from this position and get into a very curious position, then now you can really get curious about it and make the other person also see something else. For example, you talked about this, Zinia, that, there is no work life. You've talked about this. So instead of saying it like that, ask a question, frame it as a question. So I'm very interested, I'm very curious to know that, because I know the website talks about, work-life balance, or it talks about, you're looking at this. So how does that translate in terms of policies? It's also okay to ask, how would I experience this as an employee? And by the way, Zinia, if you have gone to a role and you're 50% off, then the entire conversation has not gone off well, I would say. Because I'll tell you one thing that women don't do well at all. Never go in and be quiet and only answer questions. You should ask 5 questions of your own. For example, why did the previous candidate leave? It's a great way to get power right back. Always ask, why did the previous candidate leave? What does the culture of your company? Are there any brand ambassadors I could talk to? Like that, this is a great company. I'm not going to name a name, Zinia, but I can tell you this. If enough people, and we are actually living in the market of, people say millennials don't want to work. No, I think millennials want balance back. Thank God for millennials coming in and saying, no, we don't want to work like a slave. I agree. Why should we? So if you have already done the conversation, and so you should have ideally asked questions. Basically, don't appear that I really want this job. It's like I'm considering. And in the final conversation, when you're being presented the role and the thing, saying, I'm going to show you that, how do you bargain in that conversation? But let's say you're doing that and they say that, this is the role. So you say, okay, so it's very interesting. I want to double click on my role. So my role, the impact would be this. And ever since I've discussed the job with you, I've also thought of other ideas that I could do this, I could do X and Y. And you're telling me that this is what it is valued for. Okay. You don't have to agree there and then. Do not just close it and come back. They are as desperate to hire you. Trust me. So, and I'm going to come to that in a bit, Zinia. How do you drive a hard bargain? Yes, Disha.
I had a question, but I think Shweta, you're going in the same direction. So in one of the recent conversation, this happened. Role and all, everything got discussed, and they could not increase the salary because I figured it out. Whosoever was my manager, she was also a female candidate. Her salary was less, so they kind of got stuck. We cannot increase beyond it, and then it did not work. Eventually, I had to think of it is not worth it, and I did not accept it. But that happened.
That is very true. See, it is not a one-time win. It's a chess game. Life is a marathon. It's not a 100-meter sprint. You will not get this time, but you have now got many other things. You've got information. You've learned a few things. In fact, I'm going to show you how do you use a good closure conversation. We are up on time, my dear leaders. Is it okay to go for another? Because I do want to talk about the bargaining.
It's going awesome. Can you please go ahead? I mean, it'll be great.
Okay.
It's like music to ears listening to you.
I am so glad.
How comfortable are you to stretch?
Yeah. Array, boss. Can you see my cockles are very warm? I am so very happy doing this, yeah. Okay.
Quick question: how to research for salaries and coming up with the right numbers for that position?
Glassdoor is a great source. Go on LinkedIn. Go on jobs. If you go on LinkedIn, I think I should do a session with you just to use LinkedIn well. So if you go on jobs, let's say senior software engineer. Actually, senior software engineer to bahut hi architect, principal architect. So go on principal architect and go on people or go on jobs. Start looking at those jobs. start looking at equitable companies. Go and do a lot of research. You will be surprised, LinkedIn jobs has so many people will actually be telling you what the range is for that job. Naukri, if you're on Naukri, they will actually tell you what the range is. Many people will do. If you're a job searcher, I would say forget if you're a job searcher. As long as you're in corporate, you should have research ready.
Benchmark your salary.
You always benchmark your ready. I'm going to tell you something very interesting, which I learned and I loved it. So when I left the corporate career, so I've been a freelancer and I've now, of course, now I'm an entrepreneur. But somebody told me recently, they used to tell me, Shweta, are you a freelancer? And it was almost like, oh, freelancer is as though somebody who's very ghatiya, kuch no word.
Naam mein hi free hai.
Freelancer. And then I learned the word. What is the etymology of the word? Lancing, the word lancer comes from a knight. Back between countries. Convert salaries between countries. I'm going to come to that, Anu, but I'm going to tell you this. So freelancers were basically knights that you hired for your job. So I thought, I'm a bloody freaking knight. So why I'm telling you this is, whether you're going to be part of the gig force, many of you are going to be part of the gig workforce, because that's how companies will operate their margins. That is going to happen. Or you're going to be part of the corporate. You have to always know what you're worth. So that is the best way. Go on LinkedIn, go on Naukri, go on Glassdoor. And it would be great if you have researched that company. And if you can, have you seen in courtroom negotiations when the lawyers are negotiating, they will always say, I have some information about this company. People have actually said that, the culture is a bit of a worry. Some of the managers are, all the information that you can gather. So while I'm very interested, and I will show you how to have that conversation, while I'm very interested in having this role, there are certain things that I also will have to think about, because I saw Glassdoor and it says this. So remember one thing, power differential ko equalize karna hai. You always want to do that, because that's when it is a discussion between peers. And discussion between peers always will go, when people feel that you are one garib, tuchcha person, they will say, I'm throwing you crumbs. But when they think I'm negotiating with an equal, automatically everything around it changes. And even if you are agreeing, even if they're agreeing to your salary, even if they're agreeing to all their terms, the last thing you want to do is make them feel, and I'm going to share that, why you should not, how you should plan your goals and how you should communicate even after you're won. Okay, very important. Okay, now this is very important. Pay attention and ask me a lot of questions. One is what happens now. Okay, let's say like Xenia said, okay, like now you've come for presentation. You've talked about like, I'm awesome. I can do a lot of work. And remember, you're never saying I am awesome. Never. You are a very humble person. You're saying I can deliver this, which is of value to you. I can deliver this. I am but an instrument, but I can deliver that and I can deliver this. So you're constantly, in their eyes and their mind is all the value. What you're asking for is peanuts. Think like that. Then now the bargaining will start. Of course, people will see through that and they'll be like, no, but I had really thought of this and that. So of course, you are going to make concessions. For example, that look, this was significantly below my budget. So I'm really thinking. However, what I am really also looking for is work-life balance. I never call it work-life balance, by the way, Xenia, because work-life balance kya hota hai? Life ka subset hai work. So it's not like I will live or I will work. So never call it work-life balance. Say that I'm looking for a more sustainable work schedule, because what you're then saying is what you're not saying is that what you're suggesting is unsustainable, but that's implied, right? So you're saying I'm looking for a more sustainable work schedule, which I can sustain, giving that, there is much more to life, my own health. I have to take care of all of this, my own learning, right? So that they know that, oh my God, this girl is learning. That means she's always going to be very employable. So you can negotiate like that. What you want. So which is why, remember, investigation, BATNA again becomes important. If you've not done BATNA and investigation well, bargaining will become you will not even know how to bargain. And remember, there's a big difference between bargaining and begging. I'm being very direct and telling you, never have a conversation like, yeah, but I would really need this. Nobody cares. This is the world we live in. Nobody cares what you need. Bargain means, but it's like I'm giving you something, so I need to get something. And if you're asking something from me, then it means that I need to be getting something else. Yeah. Now I'm going to really deconstruct and double click on this. So first, you have to remember, when you're bargaining, when you're making a concession, when you're setting a high goal for your bargaining, always ask yourself, is this a one-time transaction or will there be more? Who will be resentful if I win? What will be the price of that resentment? And this is where, especially if you're in a role, and if you're asking for a much bigger role, or if you're asking for go with, always think about the shadow of your win. If you think of the shadow of your win, then you can bargain with a lot more. I would not even say intelligence. I think wisdom. So, okay, if this person gets resentful, that's not going to work for me. See, if it is a one-time transaction, or I think Udisha talked about a very mercenary culture, then think about getting a pound of flesh and leave. It's a one-time transaction. I want to win maximum. But if I want to, so basically there is a psychologist that says people want to win in small amounts a lot, but when it comes to losing, they want to lose at one go. So for example, if you tell people that, look, this is either I will give you, you can take 500 rupees now, but the odds of you getting 50 or 60 small wins will, if you don't take this, then you may keep winning that. People will take that option. But if you say losing, either you can lose 5,000 or you may lose other smaller amounts. People will say, no, one-time loss is worth it. So remember this when you're bargaining. Manage wins and losses. That's exactly what I talked about. Think of how you want to pitch your win, how it will be seen in the larger system. Never accept right now. Never say, oh, I'm so, and I do it myself, because I am happy, because it's so close to my purpose. Whenever I get an Invincible Woman project, I remember saying this, that, thank you so much. This is part of our, this is part of our invocation and this and that. It's true. Of course, I'm very happy because this is what I want to do. If I had all the money in the world, and of course, that is a lot of money that I want. So, I'm going to be quiet. But I'm just saying that if I had all the money in the world, then I would still be doing the work I do. But that does not mean that I have to just take it as if, oh, I'm so grateful. Do not accept on the spot, even if it is at your terms. Because what that does is it increases anxiety on the other level as well. And that will keep them anxious always. And you want that. Hide your glee. If you look very happy, then people will say, oh, that means she's gotten away with much more. People, even if they know that, but you were not going to get so much. And
Not able to hear Shweta.
Shweta,
I think her network must be switching. It happens sometimes. We just need 2 minutes.
meanwhile, for everyone, while Shweta is coming back, we are recording the session and we will be putting it up on our YouTube channel. So you can access it later as well. And of course, share it with as many women who think can benefit from the session. And we'll also be sending across, for all those who are part of our community, we will be circulating a feedback form for us to get an idea of how you're enjoying these sessions that we're
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
sorry.
yeah, so I'm just going to circulate back post the session. So I was just updating them on running the post
Good, you
session.
did. Yeah, just allow me to share my screen again. At what point in time did I go on? You have to tell me that, huh? Just allow me to share my screen.
Hide your glee. That was the last point I heard.
I love the way you said it. Hide your glee so ominously. Yes. Remember to hide your
I'm getting
glee.
all the new vocabulary.
I love that. You should, ladies, you should do that with your spouses, boyfriends, whatever, boyfriends, girlfriends, jo bhi hai. Don't always look, oh, thank you very much. Yeah. So now that you've hidden your glee, now in the conversation, see, you're going to have hard questions. Go prepared. Nobody is going to say, oh, Shweta, you're walking on earth. You are yourself, Jesus Christ. People they will throw you down. They will devalue you. They will ask very inappropriate questions. So you should go in knowing it's going to be terrible. One is, whenever people say there is an ultimatum, no, either you take this or leave. Then this is a great line, use this. if this were a take it or leave it offer, when people say take it or leave it, you say, I am uncomfortable with either choice, but I think I really wish that we could work something that works out better for both of us. I wish we could put our heads together. So it's not you versus me, but you and me versus this problem. So people like to be an ally. So when the moment you say that, the toughest of your things can soften a bit. So even when there is an ultimatum, reinterpret the demand and say, I don't like that. And I really wish that the conversation would go in a direction that would work better for both of us. Can we put our heads together and let's see? Reverse the burden. Now what happens is, sometimes people will throw it. So I'm going to interpret this. I'm going to stop sharing. For example, people will say, this is a high demanding job and I am not really sure if you have done this work before. Or, especially I get told this a lot, right? Shweta, yours is a very new company. You're the only big facilitator, blah, blah, blah. Many things they will tell you to throw to now make you feel powerless. So you should reverse the burden on them. So you say, for example, I say this a lot. First, so I tell them, no, that's not true. We work with very good facilitators, and that's true. I have some really good friends, facilitators whose profiles I send, and I say this to them, that, but I'm sure you are going to do your due diligence as well before you give the work to us, because I know you're doing all your due diligence to make sure that we are being able to deliver value to you. Never play defensive. Even if they push you defensive, never play defensive. You don't have to do that. So that's one. For example, people sometimes will ask a difficult question. They will throw something really inappropriate at you, like, I don't know if you will be able to take this job because, it's a demanding job. There are odd hours. And what you might say that, all the personal issues are private. I think the underlying issue that you have is about my commitment to the role. And I can tell you that my spouse is very enthusiastic about the possibility of my taking this job. So what happens is, and this is actually a microaggression, which is again a big topic, so I'm not going to go there, but basically when somebody asks you something to put you against a wall, especially a comment like that is intended to throw you off, then basically you have to say it is not appropriate, it is private. That said, I do see where your concern is coming from, and can I tell you this? Ruling out inappropriate topics is very important. And I will tell you something. You should say that, though I know I do not have to answer personal questions, I think I hear the underlying concern. You should know I'm fully qualified, fully authorized, fully prepared, blah, blah, blah. Though I am not, you'll never say, you are not supposed to ask this question or blah, blah, blah. Say that I know I am not committed or I don't have to answer these questions because by law, and by the way, here's the law, just so you know. The Constitution of India, Article 14, Article 16 actually prohibits discrimination on the basis of gender. POSH Act 2013, Equal Remuneration Act 1976, the year I was born, and we're still not there. But at least by law, you're supposed to be getting paid the same. Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, there are certain clauses that actually penalized women more. And I've actually added Criminal Law Amendment Act just for the fun of it, so that I want you to think, criminal law, what is it doing here? But there are aspects about that act. And when I think of it funnily, imagine talking to your employer and say, did you know the Criminal Law Amendment Act ensures that we are equal in the eyes of law? That might make them a little anxious. So use that with caution. When you are in a hard bargaining situation, act up, which means that add to your power. You don't have to bargain alone. Now, this may not necessarily work when you're working alone, or when you're, for example, when you're applying for a job, though it can, and I have used it, and I will give you their example. Join a coalition. It can do it at home also. You don't have to be the only one asking for someone, asking for something. There may be many other people. So find out who else cares about this. Escalate prudently, and take advantage of deadlines. Everybody wants closure. So if you can hold out till the deadline, then actually you will find that, because whenever you're holding out, you should never say that I'm thinking about it. No, I really don't want to give in. No, you say that I'm being forced to consider factors because there are so many factors. Positioning yourself as an instrument that is merely considering many factors also kind of make people feel that takes away this whole pressure of that, I'm looking high maintenance. But, I'm truly, there are so many factors that are at play here. And I am at the push and pull of a much larger system where there are so many offers for me. There are so many things that I could be doing. I have so many options. When you have many options on the head, on the table, and you are very okay with being 100% self-full, then your being also changes. I know we are on top of time, so I'm going to talk about this a little bit, managing negotiating anxiety. Now, I'm saying all this, my dear leaders, my dear fellow co-pilgrims, but I know you're not going to be able to do it on day one. Of course, there'll be butterflies in your stomach. You're going to be like, oh my God. When I am talking, it happens to me also, my palms sweat. So whenever that happens, in your head, you should tell yourself, okay, when my palms sweat, I'm excited. Great, I'm going to be excited. So prepare yourself for the fact that you are going to have these sensations in your body, and keep telling yourself that it's good, it's energy and it's excitement. When you go in for negotiation, our entire problem starts, remember, rewind to the situation and say, I want something and I am going to do, get something for myself. Look at the larger opportunity. Look at how many people feel happy. In this world will become happy if you're happy. I use this nowadays, even when I think about negotiating with my husband. I think about it that if I am happy, our marriage will improve. If our marriage improves, my children will be happy. So really, I am doing it for the sake of the marriage, for the sake of our children. When you think about it like that, then negotiation does not feel like a selfish, self-full. It feels actually that I'm doing it in service of the system, because that's what is true. You're doing it in service of a sustainable system. Prepare, and you have to build your confidence through practice. And I'm telling you, please practice with your spouses, with your whatever romantic partners, children. I'm kind of very altruistic towards children, at least who are not yet 18. In-laws, great place to start. The moment you want to ask for something that that's going to be a conversation, practice these steps in a safe space. See how it feels. And of course, if you are struggling much more, then I'm going to be there, available. Neha is there. A little bit about closure. Never walk away, even if you have lost that. In a job interview, you said, no, I want I want 20 lakhs or whatever. I want a crore. Why 20 lakhs? I want a crore. And then people will say, no, sorry, a crore was not our budget. But you have decided, you've done your BATNA, you've done everything, and it's not worked out. Always ask the question, what would it have taken for us to reach an agreement? Because when you ask that, one is you've left opportunities for future conversation and you learn a lot. So this is going to come to you, so I'm not going to read through that. And so now what I want you to do as you go away, think of the next negotiation opportunity that you may encounter, because you will be negotiating. Either where will we go for dinner, you will negotiate for salary, you will negotiate for resources, time, whatever. And think about one thing that you want to do differently. And I thought I should end here. When one of the things that we do in negotiation is we kind of think, oh, it's good guys and bad guys. And this says, maybe you should consider those place cards. There are no good guys and bad guys in negotiation. I'm going to end here because we have 19 minutes over time. I don't like it, but many of you have said that you are happy with this. So please ask me a lot of questions.
It's been a wonderful.
Is that Jinsi from Brilio? Do I see Jinsi?
Yes.
Thank you, Neha. Entertainment, did you say?
Full entertainment.
Yes,
there's so
Pragati,
much to think about, Shweta. So I'm also making notes. And I'm opening the floor out, everyone. I know we're a little over time, but let's take another 5-7 minutes. If there are questions which have not been answered, we can quickly look at that. And if you enjoyed yourself, of course, we'll work back with Shweta to figure how we can build more, semblance around this and keep doing it regularly. Shweta, there's one question from Vanshika. I don't know if she's in the room, which says, what's the best way to arrive at the right benchmark for yourself first? I think you picked that already with the Glassdoor or LinkedIn.
Yeah. I can see Pragati has a question. Go for it, Pragati.
Thanks a lot, Shweta. It was really an amazing session. Most of your inputs were actually pattern breaking tools, I would say. So you said about bargaining and negotiating. No, I don't say I would like to contradict, but I have a different opinion.
Mhm.
Something which I personally experienced.
Of
Like
course, go ahead.
people use bargaining, and they claim that to be a negotiating thing. Okay, so when I was working, no, there was this annual salary increment purely based out of performance. Okay, so the highest increment was 10%. I know it is peanuts, but still 10%, and I got that, and I got that. No increment. Okay, and there was another employee who was actually in performance improvement plan. Okay, bad at quality, and the increment what they got was 8%, which when I came to know about this, it was it was such a bad heart attack. I really
course.
felt I was fooled. Okay, and the mistake I did was, neither did I bargain nor did I negotiate, because of this good girl label. No, this kind of a family upbringing where they say, no, you should be content with what you have and all the shit. I'm sure if
Correct.
I get to see that person who coined this phrase, I will
Yeah.
put him behind the bars.
Don't
No,
open a big mouth. Be happy with only adi roti, suki chapati. Please. Yes, I totally agree with you, Pragati. And this is the tragedy. Peanut buttering in the name of performance differentiation happens a lot in companies. Happens a lot. What did you do, Pragati? I'm interested in knowing what you did.
See, honestly speaking, for nearly 3 months, I was in freeze mode. I was really not able to come out of that.
You were
And
hurt.
I had some personal issues also to battle. So this became secondary, honestly speaking. Now, my question is, how will you know that you have been paid the best? Because HR has a policy, in almost all the companies, HR has a policy that you should not discuss or disclose your pay, right? How will I negotiate with my boss? Like,
See,
I am the best,
correct. So,
and this is what I deserve. Yes, of course, I
good,
got
very
it,
good
but
question. I want to answer this. Very good question.
that's my
See,
question, Shweta.
yeah, very good. I'm going to prepare you for this. So, first of all, remember this, those of you who are in corporate, your performance rating should not be a surprise, and it should be something that you have co-architected with your manager. And I will tell you how to. Just don't have
Again.
the time. So what you need to do is you need to keep going to your manager at least, can you hear me? I'm here.
Yeah.
You can hear me, right? Every month or every 6 weeks, you need to be talking to. Connection is unstable, so I'm going to switch my Wi-Fi. Just give me a minute, huh? Yes, I think this would be better. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one is every month you should be having these conversations with your manager. Okay, like this is what I've done. And 6 months into the job, into the role, Pragati, it's okay to start asking that I am very interested in knowing. Don't ask what rating will I get. Ask what should I do to be in the top rating. What should I do to be in the top rating? What should I do to be in the this? What do I need to do? 3 months before, most companies before the actual thing will actually talk about the budget. So you should also say that I am, I would be very interested in knowing that have the increment budgets have they been released? Because managers do get to know. And while the budgets are being asked out, so they may ask, oh, why are you only working for money? First of all, like, yeah, I'm not working for, I mean, when people ask these dumb questions, I'm like, yes, this is not my charity. But see, I am working for a sense of worth. The incentive really motivates me. And so it's important for me to know that my performance is really valued because I really give my 100% to the work. So it's very important to me, like, what are the differentiation guidelines like? Don't ask. You're not asking them why you gave me. See, when we bargain like school children, no, it doesn't work. Why I got 10%, that person got 8%? That's whining. That's not bargaining. Bargaining is that I want to understand what is the sort of percentage differentiation that we do across ratings. Ask a question. If somebody says that, oh, it is whatever, this, on an average, it is this, merit matrix, okay, I understand. For your saying, the more questions you ask, what you're basically doing to your manager is you're telling your manager that I am gathering data, and you're allowed to do that. So that is the best way, Pragati, to keep asking before you don't have to wait till the day your rating is communicated for you to find out the rating. The best politically savvy people know their ratings, not because somebody has told them, because they have co-architected it. And that is why you're there. You're not there in the system ki I am one Mother Teresa, okay, just give me whatever rating, I will trust you, Bhagwan. Aisa nahi chalta hai. And let me tell you this also, merit-based increment and all, I was in comp. Basically, the company has 100 rupees to distribute. That 100 rupees basically goes to reward people who will stay. They want to make sure everybody who they want should stay. And of course, that is why they divide it in such a way that the high performers give more, but they also know this person is not going to complain. If you think that that factor is not being used, then you're being extremely naive. So don't wait till after the event is done to complain. Start upfront. Thank you, Yamini. Start upfront. 3 months pehle se you should start saying that I am very keen to know, because this conversation is around, HR has sent out, because HR will always send out some mail. First of all, can I please tell this? Please read your HR mails. HR is not sending random mails, okay? They're sending interesting mails. Read it, deep dive, double click, and pick up the sections that are important to you. And then say that, they've sent this. I wonder if these guidelines have already been agreed, decided, and they'll say, why do you want to know now? Don't worry, you will get, that's what is going to be told to you. So always say no, because I have found that, I work very hard, and the incentive and the rating really motivate or demotivate me. So I want to know that I am, so what you're saying, I don't want money. No. I want to be motivated for you, sir, so I can give you more. So making sense, Pragati? But I can understand the hurt. See, because the hurt also comes from this thing that, you be a martyr and the system will take care of you, and the system doesn't take care of you. And that's where the hurt comes from. And it, especially women, they get that again and again in their family system, in society, in corporate. So please, today onwards, if one thing you take away from the session, no, I would be love it if you go away and tell yourself, I'm an opportunistic bitch and I'm okay with that. It's okay. You didn't come here to all become saints. Okay, Zenia, over to you. I will be having
Shweta, I have one more question.
Hanji.
Yeah, please. So, in the interview process, first question, at least, or the HR checks in and says, what's your salary expectation? And I lost 2-3 interviews right there, and then I just dodged it. I'm sure you guys will pay competent, a good price to me. So I trust you guys. Let's move ahead with the second, third round. So with this, now at least I could reach a third round of interview. So now the negotiation will start. But is there any other creative way to handle this situation? Because people are now calling first and saying, what's your salary expectation? Without seeing is it a fit, not fit, or me putting across anything. What to do in that situation?
Yeah. So first of all, if it is being asked to you, so there are two ways. If the recruiter is asking, differently answer. If it is being asked in an interview, I'll answer differently. Recruiter agar pooch raha hai, always give a very wide range. 20 lakhs to 1 crore. Yeah, because for the same job, give you a very simple answer. For the same job, and the recruiter may also laugh. What you're telling. Yeah, Sweden is paying that much. The world is your playground. You're not lying, na? You can say, yeah, this is so, for example, if you're in a job that you think 36 lakhs is the median, market median. So you say, yeah, I'm looking at like 40 to 60, 65. I don't have a range, but I am looking at many other factors because I'm talking to many companies and I'm looking at multiple factors. So always answer like that, because recruiters will use that as a filter. So you want to get in the filter. Remember that you want to get through that filter. So give a very wide range. So if you're expecting 36, start with 40, but give a very wide range. And don't say, but I'm open to negotiate. That's a very silly thing to say. Say, I am considering many factors. So now you please come to me with factors. Power is in the hand of the person who comes to the negotiating table. Okay. And when you're being asked this question in an interview, then never open your mouth and say that, because by then you will start getting a sense of. So you can say that, well, what I'm really interested, of course, in the money is I want to get a sense of the parity. So I would like to know what is the previous candidate's salary for this. They're supposed to share that with you. There's nothing wrong in asking you that. What was the previous candidate's salary? Very often people will say, no, we can't share with you for confidentiality of information. Say that's not confidentiality of information. I'm asking what was my role worth. I'm asking what is the role worth in the organization. Ask around. If you know people in the organization, ask Glassdoor, and then whatever you think you want, ask for 15 to 20% more than that minimum in the corporate.
I have a question here. This is the last one that you said, that parity, what was the prior person being paid? Could that not even backfire in terms of what you want to receive? So say if I aimed at around, say, 30-35 lakhs, but they ended up saying that the prior person was paid 20 lakhs, right? So then I am automatically, by asking that question, reducing the benchmark because I didn't give a figure. Whereas now what they told me is way lesser than what I'm expecting.
So many factors, Rachna. You should never say I'm expecting what the previous guy is saying. You say that I'm actually gathering data. I would like to know. There are many things that I'm before I answer that question. Basically, you're saying before I answer that question, because in my head there are many factors, I also want some data from you. That's all you're asking. And the moment, and let's say, beautiful example, you say that, okay, the previous person was doing 20, but I'm here. Now is the time you have, because you have thought about all your strengths. You can say, I deserve 35 because this is the impact I'm going to bring to the role. Na? I'm going to do this. Never say that I'm worth it. मैंने ये certification किया, मैंने वो certification. किसी को घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. But I am going to make it so easy for 5 engineering teams to collaborate. My agile scrum thing I'm going to do. I'm going to deliver this. I'm going to deliver that. I have, one of the things I've always been told is that I'm great at collaborating. I can drive all the wonderful values you bring in here, so that you justify कि वो तो data point था. I'm just using that as a data point. How we bargain for vegetables? We ask, na bhai, kitna bhai batata, tomato. All of you have done tomato bargaining, I'm sure. Pichhle 6 months mein, I have bargained for tomatoes. I think I should get a Nobel Prize. How much I bargained. And I have bargained for tomato puree for the whole society, so that we didn't have to buy tomatoes. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Natasha, you have a question, my friend.
So my question is, I don't know if it is on topic or not, but I would just like your advice.
Stop, Natasha. Never say that statement. Okay. I don't know if it is on topic. You are here, you have a right.
Okay.
Never say that statement again, okay? Yes, now.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So I'm in a bit of a peculiar situation. I work with this company where, literally when I joined, I had already told them, but basically I was pregnant. So they were well aware that within 6 months I will be going on my maternity leave. They were very good about it, no issues, nothing. But basically a year later I got pregnant again. So I was, now this time it wasn't very well received because they tried to be diplomatic about it, but I could sense that, they weren't very happy. But now my issue is that my maternity leave is about to end in a month. A lot of things have changed internally in the organization. For instance, there was a round of layoffs a month after I went on maternity, and legally they cannot do that. They couldn't lay me off. I'm a reasonably senior resource, and my sense is that had I not been on maternity, I would have been laid off because a lot of my peers at my level in my team were laid off. But because I was on maternity, I think that obviously legally they couldn't. So now when I get back, I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I feel like, okay, because, you feel like you're on maternity, so somewhere in your mindset is, they're paying you for free for not doing any work, right? I know there's a problem with that. I'm just trying to say that
they're not doing your charity, Natasha. They're not doing your charity.
Exactly. I know that also, but it's just that I want to approach this now when I get back.
What is your goal? Tell me, what is your goal?
My goal at the moment is, like, I'm a bit confused whether I should quit or wait for them to lay me off, because I have a feeling that within a month they might tell me, we want you to leave. Considering there was that round of layoffs and they couldn't ask me to leave.
So wait, Natasha, wait, take the severance package. Why do you even want to leave that?
Yeah.
If they lay you off,
Yeah,
they're
no,
supposed
so
to pay you.
yeah, so I just want to kind of help
Yeah.
you. I
Yeah.
need some help to talk me through this.
Yes.
I have
Yes.
many thoughts about this. I had already kind of decided that if that is to happen, I'm going to, in any case, start freelancing, etc. But then, so I just want to hear your thoughts on
Yes.
this and get
Yes.
some
Wonderful.
opinions on this.
First of all, can I please tell you hearty congratulations? You have two
Thank
beautiful
you.
babies, and
Thank
can
you.
I please tell you that you've done the maternity koi khane ki baat nahi hai, and it is no leave. Okay, it is not a thing. You have raised,
I
you are
know.
raising two children, Natasha.
Yeah, I know that, but
Yes.
you know that people don't know that.
Yeah, but bhaad
in
mein jai people.
organizations,
It doesn't
yeah.
matter what people
Yeah.
think. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
How old is your second baby?
He's going to be he's 4 months actually as of yesterday.
Fantastic. And are you sure that you want to start freelancing?
Yes, I'm very sure
Beautiful.
of that.
So take time, build up your profile, go on Upwork, whatever, Upwork, all these profiles where you know you can create a profile, reach out to people, write down, do your ikigai. You know your ikigai? What are you good at?
Yeah.
What do you love? And what will people
Yeah.
pay you for? Do your ikigai. Create
Yeah.
a fabulous resume. It will give you shanti. Your body will feel calm. Your children need that. You need that. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then wait. Why on earth will you wait? Why on earth will you precipitate a decision which you don't even know will happen? And this
Right.
overthinking, overanalyzing, anxiety is very part of our, for women with khana, achar, ghee, 1 chamcha guilt, 1 chamcha anxiety, 1 chamcha shame.
Right.
Yeah, no, don't take it. Are you are their
Yeah.
decision. They are very big company, they're very smart. They'll figure it out.
Right.
You focus now on building a bridge to your future.
Yeah.
If they are going to ask you to leave, they will ask you to leave. You take your package. Anyway, you're going to start do your uske upar focus karo na.
Yeah.
And do they are not, nobody is doing a charity. Please understand this.
Right. Yeah. So another story about that. I mean, I'm saying that because I think it might help other people here. There was obviously a round of appraisals while I was here, right? And which included that 6-month period of maternity leave, etc. Well, they gave me a promotion, but now when I think about it, even though I gunned for it, I did not sell myself short. Jagrut, 1 second. I was quite out there about it in my, appraisal form, etc. But I still felt I just took what I got. I just told them I want a promotion. I didn't negotiate for the money as much. I just said I want that designation and I deserve it, so I should get it. And they were more than willing to give it, which made me think maybe I should have, really asked for more.
And and Natasha, my sense is you are being extra hardworking, over enthusiastic, extra helpful, highly collaborative.
Absolutely.
I know, I can understand.
Absolutely.
Mentality leke jaoge. They have not done you a favor, my friend. Please understand. Company also wants people like that only.
Yeah. So, I mean, after my first round of maternity, I went back saying that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, because I think women also carry this guilt of feeling that they were being paid
free ka
for.
khaya hai. I have eaten free ka.
And
can you just stop and realize what a horrible self-deprecatory statement that is? Ki maine free ki salary li hai.
Absolutely.
And I have, in my entire life, I coach very senior men. I've not once heard, and I tell this, there are people who go on, they get accidents and all. Nobody ever feels like that, main free ka kha raha hu, main free ka salary. Women have this, I should give 100, and sometimes women tell me this, I should give 100, then only I should get 80. Kya hai ye hisab?
Right. I think, I think intellectually you kind of know that you shouldn't be thinking this, but it's so difficult to break that mindset that you feel, oh my God, 6 months you're getting salary and you're not working, whatever. So I just want to kind of highlight that also here, because I
You
think
are
a lot
part of the
women,
human capital. The fact that you're there in the organization means organizations are heartless corporations, money-making machines. Please understand this. Maybe except with the exception of 1 or 2 who also truly have people at the back end. Organizations are heartless machines. If they've kept you there, if they've given you a promotion, they're making a lot of money. You're part of the human capital, my friend. Okay, so there are no free lunches. And what is wrong if you get a little bit more in life, yeah, Natasha? If you get a lottery ticket, you'll tell or what like that. नहीं नहीं 10 crore तो बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है. नहीं नहीं मेरा तो 1 crore में काम चल जाएगा. ऐसी बकवास मत करो यार.
Yeah.
If you want 10, you should ask for 100. No, and it's okay. You deserve everything. And you have 2 beautiful kids. You've done an amazing job. And become a freelancer. And Neha, I know we are on top of time, so I'm very happy to come back to this community more.
Yeah, we are really on top of time. And look at me, I'm just sitting around enjoying as if
I'm
we're
so
having
sorry.
time.
I'm just so sorry.
Sorry, everyone. This conversation is too exciting for us as well. But yeah, Shweta, we are going to get you back, and we're going to figure a way to make this like a proper system, the way you made the woman's system, right? So we're going to do that. So should we pause, ladies? I know there are lots of questions. We can figure something out where we get Shweta back whenever we have her slot again, where we can do an extension maybe of this conversation.
Yes. We can do practice. I would love to do practice sessions with you all.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
And if we can get some written templates of the right words, because I think when you were saying, it suddenly felt more powerful and more leader-like, rather than we want to say the same thing, the words don't come out right at that point.
I feel you, Zina. I'm giving you a hug, my friend. I feel you. No,
practice
but after
makes
today,
perfect, my dear. Just
I want to talk to Shweta every day now. It's like,
Shweta is our, वैसे भी your money sister. She is our sister only.
Yeah. I'm your angel of power, negotiation. Go on. Bring it on, bring it on. I can't tell you how happy I am that you all attended. That means you care about this. That itself makes me happy. If you are powerful, then the systems that you raise are powerful. You raise powerful sons, powerful daughters. God knows we need that. Natasha is saying affirmation tapes. No, oh, I have far more evil ideas. But
none of us are right or affirmation manifestation trips. Okay, so we need as much as we can.
We need all of it. But on a more serious note, see what happens is all of this is there in the head, but the body will reject it when you try to do it. So you need practice. So I would love to come back with money, with negotiation, salary, 2 scenarios. We're asking for more money for a contract. We're asking for more salary. And if you want to do practice sessions, I'm very happy to do that. So Neha, I'm glad
That's
to do
my
this.
job. I'm going to get this done. Thank you so much, everyone. I saw a lot of people who have joined in who are new to the Womanista community as well. So I'm going to just quickly share a link of our WhatsApp group here, which you can join if you want to attend more sessions like the one you attended today. Our endeavor is to bring as many experts, as many women who can come and talk to us, even men who can come to talk to us about, be allies in this journey.
There are allies. I can help you. I stand on very powerful shoulders. So why not? Let's bring them all.
Yeah, let's bring more conversation. I'm just parking this link. It's a WhatsApp group, a very small group. Non-intrusive is something we follow. It's just one day in the week we open it for all sorts of money questions, and you will keep getting updates on these upcoming webinars discussions. So I hope you all enjoyed today's session. I thoroughly did. I have so many points, but there's a long way to go. I think there's so much inner work which needs to be done. So Shweta, thank you for reminding all of us.
Thank you.
I've taken a snapshot of negotiation starts from self-image, and I think that's truly what this is about, and self-image can't change overnight. So
it does. It's a journey.
We've got to keep working, laboring together, and I hope we can get you back soon.
Neha, can we have one-on-one sessions with Shweta?
Shweta? Yes, I had already sent that request to her. So she's going to give that thought. Shweta, let's connect once on that, how we want to schedule it. And Deepa, for sure, once I already put in that request to her. So I know that
we can refer many of the people whom we know, since we have attended the session.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm working out something with Shweta. We'll find a way or a system, because her time also, she has to have time versus money, right? That's what the game is. So we got to make sure.
Yeah. But this is a possibility, and we're going
to. The session is anyway going out on YouTube for everyone to listen to.
Yeah.
But we'll work out something, Shweta, for one-on-one.
Absolutely, Neha. That's always possibilities, infinite possibilities. I'm always willing to talk. And yes, Deepa, would love to. We'll figure it out.
And we already have Vishaka who's in for one-on-one. So yeah, we're going to work this out, girls. And I'm sure we're going to find a middle path. So thank you everyone once again for coming in and reminding us that there is so much that we all have to learn. Thank you, Shweta, for doing this for us, for the community, and we will definitely get you back. So have a lovely, wonderful remaining Saturday. Bye and keep self-fulfilling. What is it? Stay
Self-full.
self-full.
Stay self-full.
Stay self-full.
Self-full.
Yes.
Self always first. Thank you. Angel of
Self first
power.
always.
Thank you, Yamini. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.